So here she is, 2022 plate, Bonneville bobber. I've only had this bike for less than a week actually, about 4 days. As you can see already, I've fitted the gold chain, I've inverted the mirrors, yet to be tested. I like the look, but we'll see how that goes performance wise. I've fitted a new shock, that's the M shock from Shock Factory under there. And what we're going to talk about now, I've fitted the Hitchcox short drag pipes, just the end tips. Now originally when I was looking at buying a Triumph bobber, I was looking at the bobber black. However, when I started looking at the price differences between a 19 plate or 20 plate bobber black to a brand new bobber, there wasn't much in it, so I ended up being persuaded to buy a brand new bike. However, in that time I had already started buying parts because I'm a little bit impatient like that. So I'd bought the chain, I'd bought the shock, I'd bought the pipes from Hitchcox, as well as a few other bits and pieces that are still in the garage just to be fitted. Now I wasn't going to bother making a video like this, but somebody messaged me and asked me if I could explain how the pipes are fitted and how difficult it was. Now, because it's only the end pipes, it was relatively easy, because I wasn't replacing the cat, wasn't putting in an X pipe, so the original cat's still under there. You can almost see it. It's under there. However, to change the end pipe on its own, you still got to take off the header pipe from the head. You get a couple of 12mm nuts on the end there, on the header clamp. Easy to release those. You've then got down in here, you can just about see it there. You've got a compression clamp on the header pipe onto the inlet of the cat. You've then got under here, you can see both of them there, you've got another pipe clamp. Now that's the clamp that's securing the end pipe itself. So you release both of them pretty easy, 10mm nuts, and then you've got a little securing clamp on the bracket here. The header pipe can then be pulled away. You just got to make sure you're careful if you're not taking out the sensor at the top here. You don't put any tension on the cable. With the header pipe released away, you can then just pull off the tailpipe quite easy. One thing I would suggest is that if you have a relatively new bike, that you try to pull the tailpipe out of that clamp without pulling the clamp off the cat itself. That way it will leave the joint, I think it's a graphite joint that's in there, in place. When I did the first pipe on this, I pulled the whole thing off, and then it was a bit of a pain to try and get it to fit back in, because there's not a lot of room to get your fingers in there. Much easier just to slide the pipe out and back in through the joint itself. However, if it's an older bike, the joint might be pretty well fixed onto the old pipe or the original pipes. It might be a bit difficult. The Hitchcox short drag pipes, they are secured onto a bracket that's part of the pipe, which goes onto the frame through one of the frame carrier bolts. Now the existing carrier bolt needs to be replaced by one that's provided with the pipes. You can see that's a forward one there with the smaller headed bolt on it. Now the new bolt that they provide is drilled out to fit this smaller bolt into it to secure the pipe onto it, and that's really about it, to be honest. One thing I will say is that when my pipes arrived, the replacement carrier bolts were missing, and I didn't know that at the time until I went to look at the job to assemble it and realised that the new pipe wouldn't fit with the existing carrier bolt, because the bolt's recessed and there was no way to fit the bracket onto it without modifying it. So I looked at the purchasing listing and realised that they should have actually supplied me with bolts. I got in touch with them and they agreed to send me a replacement set of bolts, which arrived the next day, which was pretty good service if you ask me. But that's about it. So I hope this little video is helpful to anybody that's going to fit these sort of pipes himself. There's probably a few different ways to actually get away with mounting the pipes, and I did it on as it was sitting on the side stand. It would be easier if it was on a bike lift or even on a paddock stand, because when you come to do the side where the stand is kind of in the way. And I did get away with it. It was a bit fiddly trying to get your fingers up into where the securing bolts are up under there for the original exhaust, because the stand's in the way, but it's doable. It's doable with a bit of patience, and you can get away with it. But if you've got a paddock stand, probably much easier.